Welcome back to the channel, man. So Finese2tymes pull up on 1090 Jake for exposing his paperwork for doing a feds interview. Finese2tymes thinks 1090 Jake is the feds for bringing this up, but the people think that Finese2tymes was snitching because it's the year of the rat and he was talking to the feds. To find out what happened, make sure you watch this whole video and make sure you subscribe to the channel. So 1090 Jake got the paperwork for Finese2tymes. It literally says that he did a whole one hour and 30-minute interview with the feds, and they asked him 75 different questions about street-related incidents and crimes that had happened in Houston, Memphis, and the people that he was with. Because one thing they want to know is they wanted to know who he was with, where they were coming from, and where they were going, and what they got caught with. And obviously, when they confiscated the contraband from them, the two dudes, he pointed his fingers right at the other dude, man. But he was like, look, let's go into the interview room because I don't want them to think that I'm pointing them out in broad daylight. As soon as the feds and the 12 or anybody separate two people who's been in the same type of crime together, that's when they're going to try to get them to turn on each other, because you got to understand that these dudes is not super geniuses when they go out here and they trying to do all this stuff and they get caught, right? So at the end of the day, they never had a story that they stuck to. They never actually pulled each other aside and said, hey, if this doesn't go right and we get caught red-handed, what are we going to say to the 12? What are we going to say to the feds? They didn't even think about that. They just thought they could run up in that place, snatch the things, and jump back out and act like it was nothing ever happened, you know? But the thing is, in all actual reality, people have cameras, they have witnesses, they have phones to call 911 and get you and them caught up, basically. And so these guys, whatever they were off of, they must have been off the drink, they must have been off the whatever, man. But ultimately, they get caught up. And as soon as the feds and the 12 come and start asking them questions, they take them down to the station. They want to get their fingerprint. They want to do a mug shot. They want to do an interview and everything. They read them the Miranda rights. These dudes, they already talked to the lawyer and them everything said, hey, based off of your history, man, you're going to have to get yourself out of this one. And so that's why they willingly, under their own breath, cooperated and told, like, you don't give an interview for an hour and 30 minutes if you don't have nothing to say. Most of the time, like, if you go in there and you don't speak or nothing like that, then it's going to be quick, short, and over with, because they can't hold you in there forever like that if they don't got nothing on you. Or a lot of people, they just get into the interrogation room, in the interview room, and they sleep. They sleep, let them bring the water, let them bring the snacks. And you're not really even supposed to, like, a lot of times they'll bring the food to people to get them to snitch. Like, they had a program where they was giving out KFC and Popeyes for people who told. Like, you get KFC if you just tell on a little thing. But if you actually bring them a fed case and put a body on somebody, they give you Popeyes. So a lot of people was walking around in the hood with all this KFC and Popeyes and everything because the feds gave it out to them for telling. You got to understand that they be providing benefits and everything to these informants. Like, informants get paid. People get special conditions and special releases for cooperating with the feds. Like, you got to understand that they'll word it in a way where it make it seem like you help him save some, like you a superhero who gave some info that saved the world and everything like that, because they got to hit their quota. And these rappers are the easiest ones to bust because they don't really know how to move like that. You got to understand that this is just dudes who literally came up off the street and they accidentally somehow managed to release something real quick and get a big check off of it, but then they still in the streets, like, doing so. When that check run out, they're going to be back to the same thing that they was doing. And that's exactly what happened. Or during the pursuit of the whole thing, people think that to be a rapper, you still have to be in the streets. A lot of rappers are now trying to be street dudes. And it used to be where street dudes would try to rap to get out the streets. And then when they do make it out, they start a label, you know, and they make millions and do deals with big companies and sell waters and juices and stuff like that. That's what you got to be realizing, is that this whole generation, this whole new breed of cats, like ever since like the 2010s and everything like that, they not doing that no more. Now it's rappers who just literally was just regular people broke or something like that. Maybe they lived in the hood, but they wasn't actually stepping, or that they were really glamorizing that lifestyle and they was trying to follow after their friends and everything. Like Finesse2tymes and all of his people, you got to understand, when he was growing up in the area that they was in Memphis, the real only thing to do was to trap in the streets and rap about it. Basically, it wasn't even like, it was just by chance that if something did take off, it would take off. And now the thing is the fact that, okay, so now the dudes who are rappers are trying to be going back into the streets because they want to have that image like they're a bad boy, like you shouldn't mess with them. And, you know, all this stuff, it sells better when they give you the image of like a tough guy, and it makes, you know, the whole early rap, like the 90s rap with the whole gangster period, like they trying to bring that back up as if the people from that era didn't go through so much beef and so much RICO cases and people dropping and all that kind of things, man. You got to understand now that you cannot be in two different lanes and one of them being in the streets. Like, you can't do that. You can't be doing something legit and be in the streets at the same time, because it's the fans are watching, it's all the surveillance. Rappers are being extra watched and extra surveilled. Like, why do you think that most of the news you hear is always about rappers getting caught up with something? Like, you never really hear about no regular average Joe getting a RICO or pleading to 20 years or taking a plea deal, and now they were supposed to do 20 years and they do 4 years now. Everything like that. You got to understand, well, most of these street dudes or rappers that are trying to be in the streets and rap at the same time, like, based off of your history, they already got 2 or 3 strikes. So the next time anything happens, you got to understand, when Finesse2tymes got in trouble, he could have already had 2 strikes or 3 strikes. So literally, he has no option but to tell if he wants to see the light of day ever again. Like, they will put him in that cage and lock him up in the slammer doing 23-1. Because he doesn't have any more chances left. When he was doing all of that stuff in the past, that's when you should have been thinking about your future and thought, dang, man, maybe I shouldn't be running around in the streets doing all this crazy stuff, because what if I get caught up and then years later you get caught up with something again, or you would have had an opportunity to get you out of that situation, but you already on 3 strikes. So, like, even if you get caught jaywalking, you going back to the feds. And this is the real reality of the whole entire situation, because people need to understand that this is not the lifestyle that you should be going after. Like, we're trying to build up the community stronger by letting y'all know that this whole situation with Finesse2tymes, 1090 Jake, all the rappers who's getting exposed for paperwork, it just goes to show that you should detach yourself from the street life completely. You should detach yourself from anything negative, anything that will lead to a case, anything that is going to make you lose your freedom. Do not do that. And I'm trying to let all the youngins know, you have to give back to your community. You have to pick like an actual skill for you to do, so you could get a business and start running up the bread and everything like that. It's not about the fame. You don't want to be famous. A lot of these rappers, a lot of these people, they're actually signing away a lot of things for fame and all that. And so the fame is not what you want. You want to get generationally wealthy and leave that for your family. Young Dolph was trying to do that. And so, and all in all, man, you got to be following after somebody's footsteps like Young Dolph, who was actually trying to make a big difference, rather than people out here in the streets who's getting people hit up or taking big plea deals, getting caught for stuff. They live in the wrong way, man. You're supposed to not do anything, so that way you don't get caught. So everything you do, no one can catch you on it, because you're doing everything legit by the book. And that way you can run up the money, no one can say anything. You can separate yourself and be like, nah, you can't even mess with me, because I'm not on the same level as the street dudes who's getting caught up. Like, you could get them, but you can't get me, because everything is cool. So that's what y'all got to understand is what's really going on. And we trying to save the people in Memphis. We trying to save the people in all the hoods in America, and let y'all know that at the end of the day, you got to be about the right path in life, man. Subscribe to the channel. Peace.